Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Blue Podcast Network. This is the Gold Show. Today, I am joined by Reese, Jamie, and Kian. How are you guys all doing?
Yeah, all good.
Good, thank you.
Just
ill.
yeah.
I'm ill.
Yeah. He's ill. It's taken me flipping ages to get here.
Yeah.
So.
Everything that's gone wrong.
Everything's gone wrong.
Oh,
today.
literally
Everything.
everything.
Yeah.
But you know what? We're here. We're recording, and we'll get a pod out. So.
In today's episode, we are going through each of the Premier League's teams and picking one player we think that they
We
should
are going
sign.
from bottom of the table to the top, and the current team that sits 20th is, of course, Southampton. And Southampton have a lot of issues. Let's
They
put it
need a
that
whole
way.
Squad.
They need
Yeah.
they need a lot of transfers. Kian, who is your
Well,
first pick?
I was mainly torn between a left back and a centre back, but I was thinking more to next season because we know they're not going to stay up. So I've gone with a Championship centre back, Ben Cabango, plays for Swansea, so a player who's played under Russell Martin before. He's had a very good year at Swansea, averaging a 7.27 on FOTMob. So that's who I've gone with. I just think it's one that can help them when they go back down to the Championship, especially if they lose Harwood Bellis. So
Yeah.
Yes, he's been great this season. To be fair, he's been good. I've gone with a centre mid. I've gone with someone who, realistically, the signing's not going to happen. But I think someone who would strengthen them is Højlund
Yeah.
from Sporting. I think they're missing someone a bit like, they had Ward-Prowse. I think they're just missing a midfielder. I think he'd kind of turn it around for them. Good defensively, good offensively. I think it'll be a good signing.
Yeah.
Yeah. On here, I've got Jonathan Rowe from Norwich. An attacker, young player. Could be something different, something exciting for Southampton. They just need that bit of energy, that bit of spark in the final third. So
he's at Marseille now, isn't he? I think he joined Marseille in the
Okay,
summer.
he's on
He's on
Marseille.
loan.
He's on
Oh,
loan.
no.
Marseille. Oh, okay.
Ah,
Okay.
yeah, that's fair
Good,
enough.
good signing.
yeah.
man.
Yeah.
In- English, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think it'd be good to have.
I've gone for Borja Sainz from
Yes.
Norwich
Ooh.
City
Yeah,
for
okay.
Southampton. They need some goals. This team is not scoring enough goals. He's got 15 league goals in 20 matches so far for Norwich City.
From left mid.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
crazy.
Having Tyler Dibbling on one side and Borja Sainz on the other could really give them some firepower because, of course, Dibbling is a good talent, but is he going to hit double digits? Probably not.
No.
You're going to need someone to get a few more goals, and why not get a player in the Championship at the moment who's absolutely on fire?
Yeah. Well, I mean, they were looking at Endrick on loan, which once again,
That'd
I
be-
think,
That'd be quite crazy, wouldn't it?
yeah, I mean, having him, I think he'd definitely
Yeah.
increase the quality. They definitely need someone going forward.
Mm-hmm.
But I think as much as they need someone going forward, they need someone defensively.
Yeah.
Yes, they do.
Because their
Yeah.
defense is
Yeah.
so open this season.
Yeah,
It's
I
not
think
great.
it is the way that they play as well. It does not help them. It almost feels like at times for me that Russell Martin is kind of waiting to get a move to a bigger club, trying to
Yeah.
do what Company was
Yeah,
doing.
that's what I was
Yeah.
going to
Well,
say.
I mean, we
yeah.
watched the Liverpool game, and
Yeah.
they just kept playing out the back when it wasn't working.
Yeah.
They played out the back, conceded, then scored again, then kept playing out the back, and it wasn't working.
It was absolutely
I
constant.
don't know why they kept doing it.
Yeah.
But it was getting annoying.
Yeah, it was like they had one plan, and if that plan was not working,
Nothing else.
that was it.
Yeah.
19th place at the moment is Wolves.
Mm.
Of course, still in the relegation zone. They have quite an interesting squad. Are
Cooper's doing really well.
Yeah, are they going to
Yeah.
go down? Like,
I think they'll turn it around.
Yeah,
but-
between them and Leicester for me. So,
yeah.
Yeah, probably.
but I've gone for a centre half. It could be a bit of a stretch, but I've gone with Monaco's Wilfred Singo.
Yeah.
I think because obviously Wolves have played a back three a lot this season and last season. I think he'd be perfect on that right hand side of it because he's fast, strong, good defensively. I think it'd be a key signing. I think centre half is what they need though, and he can also play at right back if they need him to.
Yeah. I've gone with, once again, centre half. I've gone with Beraldo from PSG, not really playing. They do kind of have still quite a large Portuguese link, and I think he's got a lot more quality than a lot of their centre backs, and I think would do well. He can also play either out wide or in a kind of defensive midfield position. I think it would be a good signing because once again, I think he's just a lot better quality than what they already have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've gone with a centre back, Krusavov from Lons, I think it is. George is looking to move him on. So he could potentially be... Obviously, Wolves are looking for that replacement from Kilman, who moved on in the summer. So that's the player that they definitely need to look to replace, and they still probably haven't really done that yet. So that's the option I've gone with a centre-back.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with the centre-back situation. Wolves are leaking far too many goals this season.
Yeah, they leak too many goals.
Way too many. I've also actually, funnily enough, gone for a player from Lens. Spoke about him on the Man United podcast that we did. Facundo Medina. He's been playing left back recently.
That's what I was thinking.
He's a good player, left-footed centre half. Could slot into the back three that they're trying to play at the moment. And yeah, they just concede too many goals. I mean, like Cunha has had to bail them out on multiple occasions. Strand Larsen, who I thought would be a good signing from Celta Vigo last season on loan.
I don't think he's done too bad.
I think he's. I actually think I was about to say I like him as a player. I think he's done quite well. They're scoring goals, but they concede way too many. What was it, like 6 against Chelsea? I think it was.
I think it's the quality at the back that's letting them down.
Yes.
Going forward, if you look at the amount of goals they've scored, they'd be fine.
Yeah.
If their defence wasn't as bad as it is, 6 goals. So
Yeah, 6 goals and 2 assists. Yeah, I like him. He's a solid player, as I do watch a little bit of La Liga at times. Got a little bit of a soft spot for Celta Vigo because of the style of football that they've been playing, and Rafa Benitez was there last season at one point.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good player, and between Cunha and Larsen, they've got 13 goals, which is that's not a bad amount. It's just they're not keeping clean sheets. I don't even know if they've kept a clean sheet this season. They might have kept one, I think, against Southampton. Yeah, 2-0 win against Southampton, and before
that's bottom of the league Southampton.
yeah, before that, they had not kept a clean sheet. I'm still scrolling since the 25th of February in the Premier League. It's
rough.
absolutely abysmal.
Yeah.
So, yeah, a defender's needed.
Nearly a year.
I know.
Yeah.
You know,
Jeez.
it's almost a whole calendar year. 18th place is Ipswich Town.
Well, I think the biggest thing they need is a goalkeeper.
Yeah.
I've said this so many times. If you have Aro Muric as your number one goalkeeper, you're asking to go down. I think he is awful. I think he'll make a few good saves, but ball at his feet and stuff like that, so many mistakes. I just think he's a pretty poor goalkeeper. I've actually got 2 down here because one I was a bit unsure about. I've got Kevin Meyer, who did he play for again? No.
He plays for Club Azul
But
in
I don't,
Mexico.
I don't know if you've seen some of the clips, but for what Ipswich have tried to do the last few years, playing out from the back, he would be perfect for it because he's acting like a centre half sometimes when they're on the ball. He's literally outside his box.
He's got some of the best distribution.
His
in
distribution
the world.
is
It's
brilliant.
ridiculous.
But I've also got Johansson, goalkeeper for Stoke, probably the best goalkeeper in the Championship. Makes so many key saves. I think he could be also very good if Ipswich go down. So I think a goalkeeper is what they need realistically.
Yeah, I've backed that up with the goalkeeper. I also have 2, to be fair. The first one I've got is Bailo from Feyenoord. He's been kind of left out of the squad. He was going to leave, then didn't go through. But the other one that just came to mind is the backup Chelsea goalkeeper. I've forgotten his name, the Danish one, Jorgensen. I think he'd be great. I think he deserves first team football. And once again, it's an upgrade on Muric. And I think either one, because I think Jorgensen deserves more football than just a backup goalkeeper. I think he probably should be Chelsea's first keeper. But once again, Bailo's left out of the Feyenoord squad, was going to leave, didn't get the move. But I think he'd be good in the Premier League. He's got good distribution, good save rate. I think he'd be great signing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, I've gone with a goalkeeper here as well. Matej Kava. He's on the bench at Leverkusen, and he's played in the EFL before as well. So it could be a good option for Ipswich to take up.
I want to say he used to be at Manchester United.
He was.
At one point. He
came from United and then left.
Yeah.
Good keeper.
I've gone for a goalkeeper. He is currently injured, and he's not going to be back till mid-January. He literally got injured last week. Four days ago on the weekend. As we're recording this is going to be out much later. So probably by that point, he might even be back.
Yeah, probably.
I've gone for Udinese goalkeeper Maduka Okoye. Watched him a few times. Like him as a solid goalkeeper. Ball at the feet, he's decent, and he's also pretty accurate with his long balls up the pitch. Decent stopper. Made some pretty important saves when I've watched him, and he'd just be They just need a keeper. I do
Yeah.
agree. They
I
do
think
need a
another
keeper.
that I think could be quite good would be De Gea. Given
Yeah.
the form he's on now, I don't think
Yeah.
he'd leave Fiorentina.
Yeah, I don't
No.
think
Yeah,
he'll
However,
go to
I
Ipswich.
think if he came
Yeah.
to Ipswich, he'd definitely be better in terms of what they've got.
Can I say that? What about Kelleher? Is that his name from Liverpool?
Kelleher, yeah.
Kelleher, yeah.
Would he consider moving?
I
over to
think
Ipswich?
I think he would want a little bit higher up.
Yeah.
even alone to the end of the season just to play number one.
I
Maybe
feel
not this season
No.
because obviously Alisson
Because
he is a bit prone to an injury,
yeah.
Yeah.
and Liverpool
Yeah.
obviously don't have Mamardashvili until next season. So
yes, right.
I think it'll be. I don't think Liverpool would let him go in January. Let's just say that.
I
Yeah.
do see someone like Kelleher going to like Palace or
Oh, no, I think-
a substantial like Premier League team.
Yeah, I think he should move to somewhere. If he was to move somewhere a bit
Even
higher
like
than
Brentford, to be
Ipswich or
honest,
something,
like
I think he should move
Forest.
somewhere higher.
No.
But even just as like a 6 months. But yeah.
Yeah. Should
Yeah.
we go to Palace then?
We shall. Sitting in 17th, not
Yeah.
having the season that I expected. They were brilliant towards the end of last season. So good to watch. But yeah, this year, something's not clicking
I mean,
at Selhurst Park.
Looking at their squad, it's like they don't even need much. It's got
Yeah.
a very good squad. But I've gone with a midfielder I wanted my club to sign is Morten Frendrup from Genoa.
Yeah.
good.
He's like very good, especially defensively wise for a midfielder. I think last season he had probably, I think I saw a stat. He had the most tackles per 90 in all of Europe.
Wow.
for a
Wouldn't surprise me.
midfielder.
He's a great.
He's adding goals to his game. Well, he's scored the other week against Cagliari, so I think he does have a bit of attacking intent in him, and I think he would be perfect for a team like Palace. Obviously, they're playing Will Hughes at the minute. When they're not playing Adam Wharton, I think he might be injured. But I think Frendrup could be a really good signing for them if
Yeah.
they were to be interested.
Yeah, I agree. He's definitely a great player. I've actually gone with a striker. I just don't think Nketiah's really kicked off the way they wanted him to.
No.
No.
And I've gone with Fiskarten, who plays for Brøndby
Mhm.
in the Danish league. Played 15, scored 10 and 4 assists. He's also scored, I think, 3 in the cup as well.
Yeah.
I think he's someone that would be great for them in terms of. I think he's 21 years old, so he's still very young. Has a lot of kind of time to gel into that system, and I think he's in form at the moment. I think he'd be a great kind of player to come in. As I said, if someone like Mateta or Nketiah isn't really playing well, I think he's someone who could come in and definitely grab quite a few goals.
Yeah.
He likes running in behind, which they like to do. I think it'll be a good signing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't have anyone down for Palace. As I said, with their squad depth, I would kind of struggle to pick out a player for that.
Yeah, I think someone to come in for Elise. I think they need.
Yeah.
They needed.
Yeah,
Well,
to,
it was
I
meant,
don't-
to, it
which
was
is
meant to
what-
be Sarr, wasn't
yeah,
it?
Yes.
I think they need to replace Elise.
Literally what I was just about to get onto.
Yeah.
And I've gone for Leon player Ryan Cherky.
Yeah,
Mm.
I
Yeah,
can see
as
that.
a player.
That's nice. Yeah.
Of course, this guy, quality player, bow-footed. They've not replaced Michael Elise well enough. Of course, he's doing brilliantly at Bayern, and he was an elite player when he was fit and available for Palace. And yeah, they miss him massively at the moment. And I think Cherky could potentially fill that gap. It depends whether he would want a bigger move, but at the same time, I sort of feel like if he was to go to Palace, he could get games week in, week out, which probably for his development, I think would benefit him rather than going to, let's say, a European level football club.
Do you think he could go to someone like Liverpool? I feel like I could see him going.
He could
there.
potentially, but then
Or-
again, at the same time, with our current players that we've got Soboslai, Harvey Elliott, who can play in that role.
Forgot
Curtis
about
Jones can play in that
Harvey, yeah.
role.
Forgot
Yeah, no,
about
he's
Elliott.
been
Wow.
he's been injured. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like if Salah was to leave, he's a kind of player that could be a replacement. He's young. He's
Yeah,
got enough time
exactly.
to gel into that team.
Exactly. No, I do agree. I think, yeah, Cherky is a solid player. Potentially ready to be a squad player for, let's say, a European club. But if to be a starter, I think, he could do that.
And
Palace,
the
100%.
thing is with Leon as well, so their financial situation as well. So surely they'll be willing
They need
to.
to-
Exactly.
they need
They'll
to
be
sell.
willing to sell him, and they'll probably be at a cheaper price as well, just to get him off the books
Exactly
as well.
that.
I mean,
So
on that note, talking about strikes, I think someone like Lacazette, Premier League proven, played
Yeah.
in the Premier League before.
Yeah.
Once again, Leon need to sell
Yeah.
Yeah.
to make money. I think it's someone who could come in, at least for a season, and pick them up because they're not doing well.
No,
Let's be
Yeah,
honest.
no.
They're
exactly
really not
that.
doing well.
Exactly. No, and then the next team on the table, Matt's Leicester City.
Yeah.
Whole squad.
Yes. But no, I've gone with a centre half because defensively that's where. Don't put your middle fingers up at me. Oh.
Rent free, mate.
But I've put centre half because obviously that's probably where they're struggling the most. I'm pretty sure you'd agree, Matt. I've gone for Tuta, centre half at Frankfurt,
Yeah.
Brazilian, can play right back as well, so they can get rid of James Justin if they want. Really young. Well, I think he's around 24
I think
now.
20, just turned 24.
Yeah,
Something like that.
he can obviously play right back. I think he can even do a job at left back. 6'1", Brazilian. I think it's just the kind of defensive reinforcement he needs, and I think he would be a player that would do well under Van Nistelrooy.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. I've also gone with the centre back. I've gone with Jonathan Tah from Leverkusen.
Interesting.
Um,
I feel like he
okay.
wouldn't go, but I
he
think
would
that's
want
a
bigger
good.
move.
I think he's the kind of player who can play right and left. His contract's up. I think I don't know if they could, but I think if Leicester could offer him the money, I don't see why he turns around down a Premier League move.
Yeah.
I think he'd be very good in the Premier League. We know the quality he's got. As I said, play right and left, so he can cover. Can also, I think he's played at a 3-back, and he can play. I'm pretty sure out wide on either
Yeah.
side. Can also cover DM. I think if you want like an overall defensive player, I just think it makes the most sense.
Yeah.
Only if they can financially. I think that's the only way they'll be able to bring that signing in is for finance. Would pay. Yeah, I think it's the kind of thing where they probably would spend the money on if he's,
If he wanted to go.
I think he would want a bigger move,
That's what I think. I
No
agree with
offense,
you.
Matt.
No, I don't think it's offence. I think it's true. He could just
Yeah.
go to a bigger team.
What have you got, Reese?
I've got Dewsbury Hall on here. Obviously,
Oh.
former Leicester man. Obviously at Chelsea now.
Yeah.
So maybe go back for a loan.
Yeah.
Help
he's
him out a little
not
bit.
getting a lot of.
That's the
sort of
thing.
game
He's not
time.
getting a lot of game time. You got Fernandez there. You got Casado and stuff. Maybe it's something that you could go and do.
Mhm.
Maybe.
I've gone ahead and looked at a centre back, and I've gone ahead and looked at Manchester United's Harry Maguire to make a
Yeah.
return
Yeah,
to
okay.
Leicester City.
Sensational
I don't-
That's the other one I
return.
had.
Yeah,
I think that's bad.
I just think that should happen. Of course, Ruud van Nistelrooy was at Manchester United, as we've said. Harry Maguire, of course, did very well at Leicester City. That's why he did get his big move to Manchester United in the first place. I mean, don't get me wrong, the price tag was
Ludicrous.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, he's still I still think he's a solid player. Like, don't get me wrong, not an elite level centre back. I
No.
don't think he's near that, but I think he's a solid Premier League player to have in your team. So
I agree.
Harry Maguire's my centre back, and then we've got who are in 15th.
It's Everton, isn't it?
Let's have a look. It is
Everton, yeah.
Everton,
Well,
the Toffees.
I've gone with a player we have just mentioned, and I've gone Kiernan Dewsbury Hall.
Oh,
I personally think, obviously, Idrissa Gueye, he's getting on a bit. So is Doucouré. Mangala's only on loan, I believe.
I think you're right.
Yeah. So I think Dewsbury Hall could fit Everton. I know he's probably not really a Sean Dyche type player, but I think for what Everton need, I think Dewsbury Hall has everything that he's a good passer of the ball, could get forward, good defensively. I just think it could be a really good move for him, especially on like a loan deal, because obviously Everton have financial issues still.
Mhm.
So I think on a loan deal to the end of the season could be a smart move, and then see what happens from the summer.
Yeah, I've gone with a kind of striker left winger, someone who I think is injured now, did previously play for them. I've gone for Richarlison.
oh,
Okay.
I don't think, is it Bento? I don't think he's good enough. Calvert-Lewin's just stopped performing.
yeah.
I think
No.
he's someone who is of a better quality than the squad have at the moment. Played 28 games last season, 11 goals, 4 assists, which isn't great in a Tottenham side. But when you look at, getting that for Everton, I think he'd probably get a couple more.
Yeah.
I think he'd be a good return because, as I said, he's got better quality. I think it's worth it.
I've gone with Tammy Abraham back to the Premier League. Obviously, I say Calvert-Lewin's not performing. Beto isn't performing at all. They do need a striker. They do need goals. They do like that. And Tammy Abraham probably suits a Sean Dyche sort of side as well.
Yeah.
I can see that sort of signing happening.
He's 6'5", isn't he?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it's
So,
perfect.
and they need goals. I think that's the most important thing for them.
Yeah.
Wow. I really rate that. That's a
Yeah, looking back, it's a really good shout.
Yeah.
like
Because would he want to come back? Surely, if
He wants to come back.
a
He
prem,
would come back.
I'm saying if a prem side came in and offered him the wages, I'm sure he would go back.
Do you think they could pay the wage? Because of course they have financial issues. Do you think
Yeah,
they'd be able
I
to
think
pay
they- I
what
think
he
it
does?
Or the
depends.
stadium and stuff.
yeah, it depends how
It could
they
be.
would
It
split
could be even one of them where it's a loan deal and
Yeah.
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 Like a low with a buy on. Or
Yeah.
something.
and then is it Milan now, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, Milan
Yeah.
pay half his wages, Everton pay the other half. It could be something like that.
Yeah.
I
So,
thought the same about Moise Keane as well. Oh, is that Roma? Sorry. Yeah, that's it.
oh yeah.
Yeah. I was really struggling to find strikers. I've gone for Troy Parrott. I know he's only moved in the summer,
I don't want to talk about him.
but no, he's got 8 league goals this season. He's doing quite well. And yet, with Everton, it's so interesting because they've got Calvert-Lewin and they've got Beto. I think maybe they need a different type of striker. Someone
They've got
who's
2 target forwards.
Yeah, maybe someone
Yeah.
who's not as tall. Maybe someone who could do a little bit more link up play rather than just him chesting it down and passing. Like actually
Yeah.
get involved with like quick 1-2s around the
I
edge
think
of the
someone
penalty
running
area.
off Calvert-Lewin is always good as
Yeah.
well. Because Calvert-Lewin's good in the air, we know that.
Yeah.
That's
Having
meant to
someone
be,
running
it's
off
kind of
him.
meant to be in Jai, isn't it? But
Yeah, but he's a winger.
He's been
Yeah,
he's been
he's
playing
been
it
out
on the
wide.
wing. Yeah.
That's
So-
the thing. I think someone like, any of the names, Richarlison, you look at Tammy
Yeah,
Abraham.
Richarlison could be an option.
Troy Parrott, just running off another striker will cause so much more issues for other teams. Because Calvert-Lewin's good in the air, like we know that. So
Yeah.
I don't know why I didn't go striker, but
it makes
it
sense.
is what it
but-
is.
No,
Yeah.
exactly. 14th, West Ham United.
Yeah.
Well, I might get a bit of comments for this one, but I think they should go all out for a striker, and I think Ademola Lookman would be. I know it's like a very out there opinion, but if they threw the money at him, I think he would be up for it, kind of thing. I know dropping Champions League for West Ham isn't great, but I think in the West Ham situation they're in, they need a proper striker who scores goals.
I don't think he leaves personally.
Nah,
I
same.
think he
He's
loves.
playing
I think
too
he
well.
loves Bergamo. I
Yeah.
feel like.
Also, would he not play out wide, not as a striker?
Yeah, I mean he's played a bit. Yeah, I
'Cause
mean
he likes playing in that kind of left wing position at Atalanta.
Yeah.
I guess it's just
Agree with you. I don't think he'd leave because he clearly enjoys it and he's clearly one of the best players in that squad.
Yeah.
So. Oh, he scored yesterday.
He did, yeah, against Real
Great
Madrid,
goal. But
exactly.
that's the kind of goal you'd expect to see. He reminds me of kind of like Felipe Anderson
Yeah.
when he used to play
Yeah.
there, where he'd cut in on left
Yeah.
and shoot. I've actually gone with a defensive player. I've gone with Davin Lynch from Ajax. They did sign, was it Alvarez from us?
Yes.
Who now plays as a kind of DM. Lynch can play across the back four. I think he can cover also defensive midfield and centre mid. I think they are shipping too many. Just they don't look defensively great.
No.
I think someone who can cover across the back line. I just think it will be an increase in quality to the squad.
yeah.
Yeah. No, I've gone with a defender as well. Logan Costa plays for Toulouse and stuff, so could be an option. As I said, they need defense really and stuff. I know you mentioned about strikers and attackers. They did bring in Fulkrug.
Yeah, so they've conceded the 4th most goals in the league.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So same as
So-
last season.
Yeah.
so
So
it's
that
clearly
that's their issue
exactly.
and so that's where they need.
Yeah,
to
I think it could also potentially be because it almost is a whole new back four for West Ham. You got, like I think did they play back three against Wolves, or am I mistaken? No, or was it a back four?
Against Forest.
Against Forest, they played a back three against
Yeah.
Forest. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I've seen they've been like alternating at times, and like you've got Wan-Bissaka who's joined this summer,
Todibo.
Kilman, Todibo. You know, there's a lot of changes in that back line really for them. But I feel like they're losing that midfield battle a lot as well. I think they've got players in there, and a lot of them are the same sort of player. Got
like Rodriguez and Alvarez.
Rodriguez, Alvarez,
I don't rate that
Souček.
Rodriguez at all.
If I could get someone for West Ham, I would go for Pepelu from Valencia. Very good on the ball player, and I feel like they sort of need that. They're missing that in that
They've
midfield.
got too many
Yeah.
DMs.
Exactly.
And then Paqueta, who's just isolated on his own.
Yeah.
He's
And
not
then-
even starting at the minute.
No,
Yeah,
and,
well, Kudus as well.
and he's not
isolated.
he's not a holding midfield player. Like
No.
he shouldn't be sat in a 4-2-3-1 as
Yeah.
part of the
But
defensive
same with
midfield
Kudus.
slot.
Kudus is isolated when you watch him. There's no one around him. I think Papelo would be a great
Yeah,
player
I think-
alongside him.
Yeah, I think he would be. I know Valencia are struggling this season, and he's been in and out the team sort of, but he's still a top quality player.
Looks like just seeing from behind the camera. It looks like Todibo will leave. So,
Yeah, I think he's fallen out with Lopetegui.
Yeah, I
Who
think
wouldn't?
was it the. Yeah, the other day there was like a massive argument with them or something. But
Yeah.
if he leaves, they'll definitely need to cover from that.
Yeah, I am going to bring myself great joy in saying the next team in their position, Manchester United, 13th.
Henry, we miss. Well, we don't miss.
We
him,
don't
but
miss him.
we did a rebuild, and sorry, can I just point out the video that me and Matt did was perfect. With after the Arsenal game,
Yeah.
we put out the video about will Man United change,
Mhm.
and I guess I was right because it hasn't changed yet.
Not yet,
Because
no.
we beat them.
That's what I was gonna say.
Back-to-back losses for them in the league. What players do you think they should get in?
Well, I've gone probably like I have with West Ham. I've kind of gone a bit. Maybe would he join? Would he not? He only joined them in the summer, but I've gone for Coop Miners. I think he would fit United really well under Amorim, but
Yeah.
would he go after
I don't
just
think-
joining
I-
Juventus?
I
don't
struggle
think
to
he
see
would.
him going from
I
Juventus.
don't think so.
But I think if he was at where was he?
What,
at before?
Atalanta?
If he was at Atalanta
Yeah.
still, I think it would have been. It
Yeah.
would have
Yeah.
more chance.
I
but
think
the
even in a year he could join.
He
yeah,
would be
'cause I
great.
think
Yeah,
he would
there.
fit United perfectly. 'Cause I don't rate Ugarte. I can't.
Yeah. I think if he doesn't
Casemiro's
win,
getting on.
I think if he doesn't win anything at Juve, I could definitely see him wanting to leave to a
Yeah.
challenge.
Yeah.
I don't know if
Yeah.
United. I think United need a
United
lot more.
could be because I think Amorim's a good manager.
Yeah, United needs a challenge first.
Yeah, I was going to say they need to increase. I mean, if I was going to go on that, I'd go with Humeland again, another
Yeah.
centre midfielder, box
Mhm.
to box, played on Damarin. But the other player I've gone with is Yoro Hato. I mentioned it before.
Yeah.
They need another centre back if they're going to play three at the back, someone who can play left back. Hato's played 14 games at Ajax this season at left back, got 2 goals and 4 assists, which for someone playing as a left back, centre back is very good.
Mm-hmm.
I think that left side, you're not going to have Luke Shaw back. Malacia is clearly not that good.
Yeah,
They need somebody else. I think someone who can cover both those positions would be him.
agreed.
Yeah, no, I've gone with a left back as well. Alphonso Davies from Bayern. I think if you want to, obviously they're going to play the three at the backs, they want wing backs. Going forward, Alphonso Davies is very good, and I think he would do well under Manchester United.
Yeah, I
and
mean,
Amorim.
I think he's
Like, they
he's
need-
not going Real Madrid. I think
I
most
don't know,
likely.
well,
They
if
don't need him though.
yeah,
No, he's not going to turn it down.
No,
but that's
don't need him.
Yeah, well, then again, like looking at Real Madrid's left back options, Garcia's been decent this season, but Furlong Mendy
Mendy.
has been atrocious whenever I've
Yeah.
watched him play.
Yeah.
So
He's one of the reasons why they're in a position
why,
they're in. at the
yeah,
moment.
why they need a left back. I don't know. Yeah, I'd be interested to see if Davies would go to Man United. Personally, I think that's a downgrade, but
Yeah.
that's my opinion. Left back for me, Anthony Robinson. Break the bank for that guy. Get him in. Really solid player. He's rarely ever injured as well, which is like the polar opposite of Luke Shaw, which is what Manchester United desperately need at left back. Because as much as Dallow's done a decent job playing
He's a right back.
exactly,
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
in the wrong
Yeah.
position, and then you've also got Amad Diallo, who's been playing wing back, doing very well at wing back.
Yeah.
Going
But
forward,
his
though,
I
natural
was going to say going forward.
his
not
natural
defensively.
positions in the front three, so he should be up there.
Yeah.
So if
Once again, I think a lot needs to change for United.
Yeah.
I think at the moment with the system they're going to run,
Mhm.
they need to change a lot of players. A lot of players are
100%.
not ready to fit into that
I
system.
yeah, I totally do
yeah,
agree.
yeah.
Newcastle United are in 12th.
Yeah, I've gone because they've obviously had PSR issues recently. This one I'm really interested on your put. I've gone for Ibrahim Sadiq, a winger in the Eredivisie, having quite a solid season, and I think it would be quite a cheap option as well. In 7 games, he's got 4 goals and 3 assists. He is 24, so he's not as young as you'd probably want him to be when you're buying a winger for that cheap.
Is that for? Is it Alkmaar?
Yes.
Yeah, he had a good game against us the other day.
Yeah. I've seen videos of him. He just gets at players, and I think obviously you got Murphy and Armour on, which they want to improve on. But I think in Newcastle's money situation, when they've got to be careful, I think he could be a quite good cheap option as well.
Yeah, I think I agree. They definitely need a winger. Murphy in that Liverpool game, they probably he had about 3 shots outside the box,
Yeah.
just kept going wide. I think they might lose Isak soon. I think it'll bring in quite a lot of money.
Yeah.
I do think they'll need to replace him with a striker, but the player I've gone for is Kingsley Coman.
Ooh.
Another player I think will leave Bayern Munich at some point.
Yeah.
He's kind of every season it's like, is he going to leave? Is he going to stay? Played 13 games, 3 goals, 2 assists in the league. Most of it's coming off the bench. I think he'll increase the quality of that squad. I think he'll definitely start over either of the two wingers. I don't know, as I said, if they have the financial. I think they'll need to sell to bring him in. But I think he'd definitely do well out wide. But then, as I said, they'll need to also replace the striker, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I completely got to do Newcastle. But yeah, I do agree with financially they're going to struggle to bring in players, and so I think that they're going to have to sell. I feel like they're going to need wingers. I feel like you said with Murphy as well. He works hard, but he just doesn't have the quality.
No.
At the end of the day, he's a championship player for me.
Yeah.
Probably midfield, defensively, they need players as well. They're really struggling this year, but I feel like the past couple of years they have overperformed, and that's why they kind of had that dip. But yeah, I feel they need a couple of players in different positions.
Yeah, I mean, I've sort of taken the PSR out the window really with my pick, but I know that Brentford are currently above Newcastle.
Yeah,
but,
I was thinking of this as well.
Brian and Mbuemo
Yeah.
for the right hand
I could see
side.
that.
Yeah.
and Mbuemo. I just think he is a good player. You know, very clinical, I would say as well. He doesn't have a lot of shots, but he seems to put them away the majority of the time. And he's been used. He got used at wing back, I think it was, against them, and he got a goal and an assist from wing back. Like, you know, he just is a really, really good player. And despite Brentford being above Newcastle in the table, I still would think that Newcastle is probably a slight upgrade due to their recent finishing in Europe a few
quality of
seasons
player
ago.
as well.
Exactly. Yeah, I do think so. I just think it's the manager for Brentford that's really elevating that squad.
Yeah.
I think the winger situation in Newcastle, that's what they want, because obviously they bidded for Elanga on deadline day, 50 million,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
I wish we accepted now. But apparently they still want Elanga, so maybe the PSR issues are kind of out the way, because obviously they sold Anderson to us, and that was a
Yeah.
profit.
Yeah.
So maybe it's out the way, and they still want someone like Elanga who's not going to be cheap, but
Yeah.
they still want that quality.
I think if they want a winger, if they're still looking at kind of the PSR issues, I do think someone like Rooney Baji could be good. He's definitely going to probably leave Copenhagen, doesn't want to sign a new contract, rejected contract advancements. Does look like he's going to leave. I think Premier League would be good. I think if he came to Newcastle, I think he'd work in the system because they play as kind of right mids alongside right wingers. I think he's got a bit of time there to then gel into the squad, could become one of their star players. If Isak stays, he plays with Isak in the national team, which is a good player to link up with.
Yeah.
As I said, free contract, so you're not really spending any money, you're just paying a wage. So I think if that was a big issue, then it just seems worth it.
Yeah. No, definitely. Next up, Tottenham Hotspur are in 11th. So we got Tottenham, Newcastle and Man United all in the bottom half. Wow. What
Well,
a sight.
Someone behind the camera has already seen my shout for Tottenham and absolutely ridiculed me. I've gone James Trafford. Because, just hear me out on this one, right? So, obviously, Vicario is going to be out for a while.
Right.
And I think they just need a young goalkeeper, because I don't think Forster's getting on. He's not going to really be... He probably won't be playing next season. He's just left the room because I said it. No, I think people just harshly criticise Trafford too much. I think there is definitely a good goalkeeper in there. I mean, you're not a bad goalkeeper if you're playing for England, in the England squad, sorry. I do think there is... And he's still young. I just think he could work out for Tottenham, especially more in long run, because obviously Vicario's getting on a bit, but I think Trafford could be... I see why I think it's a bit dodgy, but I don't think he's as bad as people think he is. But
It's interesting because I've gone the complete opposite side of the pitch. I've gone for a striker. I think they've brought in Solanke. He's done well.
Yeah.
I think the way Solanke would work is with somebody else alongside him. And I've gone with Benjamin Sesko.
Right.
Linked to, once again, another player to leave. I think he'll bring in quality in the Premier League. I think he can also play in cam or kind of, just behind the striker, which I just think with Tottenham, the issue is they don't score enough. With the quality they've got of Son, you've got Richarlison, Solanke. I just don't think they score enough. I think they need somebody else to kind of link between the midfield and...
Aren't they top scorers in Prem?
Let's
Are
have
they?
a look.
They might be. I might be off.
Tottenham Hotspur
Yeah, I
are
think
on
they are top
they're-
scorers in the Prem.
They're tied second with Brentford.
Ah.
Okay.
Well.
I still... Fair enough.
Sorry, mate.
Fair enough. I don't watch Tottenham, to be fair, so I'll take it. But I do also think they still need someone to kind of link between the midfield and the striker. I just find there's a bit of a gap there. And I think someone like Benjamin Sesko would come in and do well.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I've gone with Eze from Palace. I feel like he's due a big move, and I think Tottenham could be that next step for him. Even Mbeumo as well from Brentford as well. That winger score goals. As you're saying, I don't know. How old is Mbeumo anyway? He's
24.
24.
For me, he seems like he's like 28, 29. He seems way older than what he is. But I don't think Mbeumo would be a bad show either.
No, I don't think so. If Tottenham could somehow get this player, not sure that he would move considering he never went to a certain club in Merseyside, Martin Zubimendi, they are missing a player who just... When Bentancur has been injured far too often. We know he's good when he plays. I think he's a decent football player. It's so chaotic.
Yeah.
Tottenham are so chaotic to watch, and I know that's the style of play, but like just get somebody in that midfield along with Bentancur, and then maybe you could be able to have a Maddison. That's why Maddison's not been in the team week in, week out.
Well, they tried Basuma and that didn't work.
No, exactly. But yeah, Basuma at Tottenham, it's just not worked out, unfortunately, for him. They need someone in there who's just going to like calm it down at times, because with Tottenham, it's constant. It's constant like forward play, which is totally fine if you're dominating the game. If you're not dominating a football match, then there needs to be moments where you're gonna just knock the ball around the back for a couple minutes and just wait
Question is,
for an
who's their
opening.
left back, by the way?
Destiny Udogie.
Okay,
He's
that's
been
not
struggling lately
bad.
though.
I was going to say he's been not great, and their centre backs are
Romero and Van der Ven.
When they're
Van
not
de Ven.
injured though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think necessarily
Davis.
I
defense.
think Romero needs to be changed. I think
Yeah.
Van de Ven's good.
It's-
I think Romero could be replaced in that squad, to be fair.
I feel like with Tottenham defensively they seem to like concede a goal per game. It feels like.
It's always just a stupid goal as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah,
Something they
yeah.
just shouldn't
It's very
concede.
avoidable.
It's Tottenham though, isn't it? What do you
They're
expect?
2-0 up on Chelsea and lose the game. Come
Yeah.
on, that's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Can I just come back with the midfield as well? Is that I find with Tottenham, ever since they lost Dembele, they have not replaced that sort of player. He's an amazing player, so it's very hard to replace that sort of player. But ever since they've lost him, I feel like they've struggled in that midfield.
They had, was it him and Sandro together were just ridiculous
Yeah.
in midfield.
Yeah,
And then both left. And I think, Dembele is the player they missed. It's just that kind of... They had it with Wanyama. Was it Wanyama?
Yeah, Wanyama.
Yeah,
Yeah.
For a
he
little
was
while, yeah.
He was the closest player to that, where someone who can carry it from defence and just bring it down
Yeah.
the pitch. They've just
Yeah.
got no one else like that. It's a good shout.
Well, should we move on?
Move on. We're in the top 10. Fulham.
Well, I've gone for a striker because I think Jimenez is getting on and might get a few injuries. I've gone for Jonathan. I can't say his last
What?
name.
Burkhardt.
Burkhardt.
Yeah.
Obviously, it might be a bit of another big shout, but 10 goals in 13 Bundesliga games. You're probably going to have to pay big money for him, but I think he would fit Fulham's style. He's played striker and attack midfield. He's in Germany under 21s. I think it's just what they kind of need, if that makes sense. A striker just to...
Right.
I think everywhere else on the pitch, they're looking all right. But a striker who's going to get you goals consistently, I think Burkhardt would be a very good option.
Yeah, I've gone with the same striker, to be fair. From the Bundesliga, I've gone with Matthias Tell from Bayern Munich, 21 years old? 18 years old. 19 years old.
He's available
19.
on loan, I think.
Yeah, I was going to say he's 19. I thought he was older than that, to be fair.
Yeah.
Quality player. I think he could just walk into that striker position. Can also play out wide if they need him to. I think he's not going to get enough game time at Bayern Munich because you've got Kane. I think he's definitely someone that would do well in the Premier League, likes to run in behind defenders. I think that works having, is it Smith Rowe behind?
Alongside Adama and
alongside the Pereira.
Iwobi.
Yeah, and then they've got Pereira as well. Having players who can play the ball over the top, like to cross it in, I think he's the kind of player that I think would fit that system very well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who we on? Sorry, Fulham. So I've gone with Yuri Alberto from plays over in Brazil.
Yep.
believe he does.
Yuri Alberto from Corinthians.
Yes.
Yeah. He's
the one
linked
he's the
with.
one we want.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a great striker. Had a good
Yeah.
season, to be fair.
So yeah, I've gone with him.
Yep. And I'm going to go for a man who has played for Wolfsburg since November 2011. Not sure if he would actually ever leave the club, but I like him as a football player a lot. Maximilian Arnold.
Oh, that's
good
a shot.
Good player.
FIFA days.
He
Shout.
is 30 years of age, and I just think in that midfield, of course they put Sander Berger in, who's been decent for them. They've got Lukic. I just feel like something's a little bit missing in that holding midfield spot for me. I still think they're doing well. Of course, they've got Iwobi, who's been excellent, like going forward and defensively, which helps out a lot. But I just, someone in there, because at times they've used Pereira in like
Yeah.
He's an attacking
the
midfielder. He
holding
can't do that,
positions. I
yeah.
feel like they need someone who's like in between Lukic and Pereira.
Someone who's just that position.
Exactly, and I
Yeah.
think Arnold would work really well in there.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about it a bit later, but I just want to pick up on some of the stats from Yuri Alberto.
Yeah.
So he definitely increased in quality when Memphis Depay came in.
Yeah.
I think that's another name that I was going to mention just to be in the Premier League.
Mhm.
He's done very well. But in the Brazilian Serie A, I've got here 29 games, 15 goals. In the in the Sudamericana, which is like the kind of Europa League,
Yeah.
10 games, 9 goals. Brazilian Cup, 7 games, 2 goals, and then the Campeonato Paulista is 11 games, 5 goals. So he's consistently scoring.
Yeah,
I can see why
And
we want him. Bloody
He's a
hell. Sign him up for us.
he's been a lot. He's been a lot better since Memphis Depay joined. I think the quality has definitely helped him. But just those numbers itself kind of says it all. You
Yeah.
know what I mean.
right. 9th place, Brentford. Incredible at home this season.
Yeah.
The best home record in the league.
Obviously, goal scoring isn't an issue. It's defensively, and there's this centre half I've wanted to see in the Premier League for years. Isaac Hine of Atalanta, Swedish centre half, 25 years old, just absolutely solid centre half, very good in the air, and I think he's just exactly what Brentford need in like a back three, or if they play the back four. I just think he would be perfect for it. I was thinking of right back as well, but I think centre back is probably a big area they need and I think Hine would be perfect for Brentford.
Yeah.
I've also gone for a centre back. Got it here. Plays for Stade Rennais. Leo Østegård, Norwegian centre back, has been very good this season. 11 appearances, has scored as well. Can play both sides. I think he's the kind of player who can, as I said, play on both sides. Can also play out wide. He played for Brighton, I think, on loan at one point, and for Stoke.
Coventry as well, wasn't he?
I
remember him.
He's a great player. 183 centimeters. I think he'd fit in that back line anywhere, basically. I think he'd do well for them.
Yeah.
Okay. I've gone with goalkeeper. I don't really rate Flecken that highly, personally.
I don't.
However,
Fair.
but I'll go with Calais, Liverpool goalkeeper there.
Yeah, I think that's a good shout.
As we said, obviously about Ipswich, Brentford is slightly higher. Step up for him. I think he'd be good there. It's whether he would think that is high enough still for him. Is he more ambitious to wanting a European side? But Brentford are progressing.
They are doing well.
Obviously, what's your thoughts on that as a
Liverpool fan? Yeah, I mean, would love him to stay, to be totally honest, but I just do not think that is going to happen. And yeah, Brentford is a good level for him, but yeah, I still feel like he could potentially even push on a little bit further, because I do rate him as a goalkeeper quite well. But for me, I've gone for a right wing back. If they continue to play the back three, Aaron Hickey is out for the rest of the season, I think, with like a muscle injury. Don't know what's going on. That's what FotMob has told me anyway.
He's hardly played at all since signing.
Yeah,
I know Arsenal want
him. And this player also plays centre-back. He used to play for Barcelona, Oscar Mingueza at Celta Vigo.
Yeah. Okay.
2 goals, 5 assists so far this season.
That's really good.
Within like the first month and a half, I think that's where pretty much all of his goal contributions have come from. It slowed down, but still, he can play in the back three, can play as a wing back, versatile player, and I cannot imagine he would be very expensive.
Yeah.
Well, if we're going on the next club, which I believe is Bournemouth,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've gone for a right back.
Mm-hmm.
I have also gone for Oscar Mingueza.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I just think he would fit Iraiola's system so good.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's Spanish. I think Bournemouth do need a right back because Adam Smith is 2024, almost 2025. He can't be.
Yeah.
Can't be playing.
Yeah, no,
And that
yeah.
Araujo they brought in just hasn't hit the ground running at
Mhm.
all. But I think Mingueza, like you said, Mingueza, he's good going forward. He's good defensively. He can fill in at centre half if they need him. So I think Mingueza would be perfect for Bournemouth, especially in Iraiola's system.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I've gone with a centre back. I think Senesi's good, but just has his kind of off days. I've gone with Bologna's Sambuquema. Came through, I want to say Go Ahead Eagles, played for AZ Alkmaar, played well, then got sold for basically like 10 times the price. Can play either side once again. He's had a good season so far, 14 games, 1 assist at centre-back. I think he's got the kind of quality that will boost their defence. You know, it's not a massive signing. You might pay maybe roughly 10 to 15 million for him, but I think he'll increase the quality and kind of help them sustain the position they're in, because I don't know how long they're going to do it for if they don't kind of, you know, get better defensively.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. I didn't have anyone down for Bournemouth, but I think
Mingueza.
yeah, I think it's a good shot for me.
Yeah. I'm quite happy to go with Mingueza again, to be honest. Like,
Mm.
I cannot really think of anyone else. It just
he
suits
suits
him.
Bournemouth.
Yeah,
he really
he
does.
screens-
suits
Yeah.
him
He
to a
screens
T.
Bournemouth for me. He
Suits
screens
it.
Bournemouth.
Mm.
Yeah.
We've
I
also
think it
got-
suits him.
We've also got another club on the South Coast next. Brighton and Hove Albion, 7th place. They have had the tied most injuries in the league this season with Ipswich Town. So
Well,
to be in 7th, I think that's pretty impressive.
I've actually gone for a right back because I personally don't rate Lamptey very highly,
Right.
and I don't think Veltman at right back is sustainable.
He's old now.
And I'll be
Yeah.
surprised if you might know him. I'll be surprised if anyone else does.
Mhm.
Copenhagen's Mexican right back Rodrigo Huescas.
Yeah, West Class.
Yeah. He's only played 6 games this season, but his average is 7.46.
He has picked up a couple of knocks. That's why he's
Yeah.
not played many. But he's been
But
good.
from what I've heard and what I've seen, he could be a really good right back for Brighton. And obviously, they like to go with these obscure players that no one's really heard of. And I think Huescas could be a very good pickup for them. He's played for the Mexican national team, so I think he's just.
He can also play further forward, can't he?
Yeah, he can play right
like almost
midfield.
right wing.
Yeah.
I've gone with a player who is a very well-known player, to be fair. Can also cover it right back, but he's mainly kind of a CDM. I've gone with Konrad Laimer from Bayern Munich.
Yeah.
I think the midfield is just a little bit lack sometimes. Once again, he can cover it
Yeah.
right back if they need. I think they're missing somebody quite, powerful in the midfield.
Mm-hmm.
I think someone like Konrad Laimer is not a starter at Bayern every game, but I think comes into Brighton, he's one of their best players, will do well in the Premier League, and I think, I think he'd be great in the midfield.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have anyone down for Bayern.
Wilfred Singo, for me, he
What
can
I said earlier.
centre half, can also play right back, of course, and we know that Fabian Herzler likes doing that. He's done that with Veltman a lot. Veltman naturally probably is a right centre back, but he's been shifted out to right back to fit in with like the back three system once Estupinian or Kadioglu pushes up the pitch. Yeah, I just think he'd suit it, and I don't see why not Singo wouldn't want to go. Apart from, of course, the fact that Monaco are in Champions League football.
Yeah, but I mean, Brighton push for European football.
They do.
It's a very good squad. They've got a good kind of idea of what they want to do. Their identity is good.
Mm-hmm. Aston Villa in 6th.
Yeah.
Well, I've got 2 players down here. I've got Julian Ryerson, Dortmund right back.
Yeah.
As much as I love Matty Cash, right backs always seem to be a bit of an issue lately for Villa. Either
Yeah.
he's been out injured and they've had to play Konza. Obviously, Ryerson helped Dortmund to a Champions League final last season, so I think he's just that solid right back who's got that European experience, Champions League experience,
Mm-hmm.
which could be vital. But I've also gone for a former player, Douglas Luiz. Obviously, he's not really had the time at Juve that he would have thought, and I think Villa could. Do they need a midfielder? That's
I think the thing is he's just gone, so he wouldn't leave. I think that's the only.
Well, it could
thing.
be like
Yeah.
a loan deal.
Could be a
kind of
loan,
thing.
yeah. Bringing back former players, I've kind of done the same thing. Once again, could be a loan, but I think Jack Grealish
Yeah.
coming in
Yeah.
on loan from Man City, he's not playing really for them. Let's be honest. I think he's better than Leon Bailey, as much as I hate to say it. He is better than Leon Bailey. Who do they play on the other side? I've completely forgotten.
Rogers.
That's
It's
I
either,
think.
it's either Rogers or like sometimes they play John McGinn on the left.
Yeah, once again, better quality. I think it will increase his game as well, because I think he's the kind of player that deserves to be in the England squad, deserves to play. We know he's a good player.
Yeah.
Not getting game time at Man City, realistically, with Savinho coming in and playing pretty much every game, I
Yeah.
don't think he's going to start many games for them.
No.
I think him going back into Aston Villa, they've got Champions League football. I don't see why not. I think it works for him, works for the club.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've gone with a winger as well, Alex Bainer, who plays over in Villarreal.
Yeah.
Could be a decent shout. I think they do need wingers. I do think they need other players going forward as well.
Yeah,
So-
they're lacking goals, aren't they? A lot.
Yeah,
like,
That's
yeah,
only for
yeah.
Grealish.
yeah,
Look how
I
many he
mean-
scored for them.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then they do concede a goal pretty much every game at this point. What they've got like 2-3 clean sheets. So and the goals are more sort of shared, really, aren't they?
Yeah.
There's not really
there's
Yeah,
not,
yeah,
there's
yeah.
not
Ross
one.
Barkley's getting there
Yeah,
on
there's
the
not
act.
one guy who's like getting lots and lots of goals. Not like Ollie Watkins last season,
was
where
gonna
he
say that.
almost.
If anything, it's
almost-
Duran.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
Duran's
Yeah.
not
such
got
a
the,
good player.
he's not got the minutes. Again, going to go for Wilfred Singo. I think they do need a right back.
You like Singo, don't you?
Yeah, I think he's a good player. I think he's a solid
like Celta
player.
Vigo.
I think he's a solid player, but yeah, I just think to help suit the system that Emery wants to play, it's another back three sort of thing when they end up attacking, because Luca Dean will bomb on forward up the pitch. Yeah, he's just a solid player, and there's not a massive amount of players who can play centre back and right back and do a good job. I would say. So yeah, I think go for him. But yeah, as for a winger, Jack Grealish is a great shout. Even
Yeah.
like moving him centrally and still maybe having
Yeah,
Rodgers
playing
still
as
on
a
the
cam.
wing.
Have
Exactly.
someone else.
He was brilliant. He was
Yeah.
brilliant for England when
Played
he
down the
played
middle.
centrally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think realistically, you could probably loan him. I don't see why Man City wouldn't. They're not going to use him.
Yeah.
They've said that he's not going to start games, so why not?
Yeah. Into the top five.
Here we go.
And there is a certain Nottingham Forest sitting
Indeed
in
we
a
are.
Europa League spot.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not going to stay for long. But
I mean, if we want to maintain, I've got two here, both right wingers. If we want to maintain that Europa League spot, I think we go all out for Johan Bakayoko for
Yeah.
PSV.
Yeah.
I think
get him out of the Eredivisie, please. Please just get him out.
with whether he come to us, I don't know. We tried in the summer, but apparently he wants to be in team fighting for titles. Maybe now we're fighting for Europe, he could be up for it. But it could happen. It could. I'm not. Our owner's so ambitious. I think it's possible.
You need to throw a lot of money at him. That's the only
Yeah,
thing. You
but
need to give him a
It's
massive
like
wage.
Alanga's been poor this season. I like Jota Silva a lot, but Jota Silva off the bench, he's a menace, absolute menace. But the other one I've got is another one we got linked to in the summer, and obviously we spoke about Lyon earlier with their financial situation. Their youngster Ernest Nuama, is that how you pronounce it?
Is it Nuema? Yeah.
Nuama, yeah. He struggled this season, but young right winger gets at players, which is what we don't really do. Elanga very much, he'll get the ball, look forward, but then pass it back. He won't run at them, which is what we're lacking of. Obviously, going forward, probably
Yeah.
been our pet peeve this season. But I think if we sign Bakayoko, mate, I am booking my European tickets, my flights, and everything. Bakayoko will. Bring me Bakayoko, please.
I've gone with someone who they're linked with heavily in real life. Chris Wood's doing well. We've mentioned him before, but
Yeah.
Yuri Alberto, after
Mhm.
the season, he's just come off in Corinthians. I think he's a good player. I think he's someone who would elevate them in terms of he can play out wide if they need him to. But I think him and Chris Wood up front, once again, it's kind of that big striker who can hold up the ball
Yeah.
with alongside a player who will run off. I think keeping up the kind of goals scored will be important for them. And I think he's someone who, as I said, they're already looking at him in real life. His stats have been ridiculous for the end of this season. I think the only thing with him is he's a little bit hot-headed. He does like to kind of...
He'll fit right in then.
yeah, he does get himself sent off quite a couple of times. but I think with them it's proved because when they bought someone from Brazil, Danilo,
Murillo
of course
as well.
Murillo
Yeah.
as well. They're injured, or Danilo's injured at the moment, but it's been good for them. I think someone like Yuri Alberto would fit in perfectly in their team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I've gone with Igor Jesus.
Igor Jesus.
Yes, there we go. So, yeah, I feel like they need to continue scoring goals. At some point, surely Chris Wood will slow down in scoring. At some point, it's like, well, when we look at how many goals he scored, what's the highest amount he scored? Is that 12 or something like that? I don't know how much, but yeah, I think as long as you keep scoring goals, then I think that's the most
We can be
important
up
thing.
there, so, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just whether Wood can keep going.
Like, we don't want Wood to get injured.
Yeah, that's
Like,
the thing. If Wood gets injured, then
we are
yeah, then you're in trouble. So you
That's
want
why
you,
I'm saying striker.
Yeah.
Yeah. You need someone.
Yeah. No, definitely. I am struggling to pick a player here, you
Oh,
know,
thanks,
for
Lloyd.
choices. But I've made my decision.
The whole squad.
Dusan Tadic. He's an old player. I would love to see him back in the Prem. I know it's a bit...
how old is he now?
He's
How-
36, so
36.
it's,
Yeah, I wanna see him come back to
No,
Ajax.
it'd be a short, it'd be a
36,
short stint, but it could be a memorable one.
Send him
He's
to
still...
Southampton.
Would he be- is-
Southampton
yeah,
need them more.
yeah.
Is he better out wide or through the middle? Is he?
Well, he's been
Now
playing,
through
he's
the
been-
middle.
He's been playing on the
Well,
left
he
a
wouldn't,
lot.
He wouldn't get in our team through the middle when you've got Gibbs White. You're not going to drop Gibbs White, and then you've also got Elliot Anderson.
Yeah,
Could
no,
you
I
Gibbs
get...
White back a bit and play him
No,
further
I
forward.
But then
Nah, you can't have
again,
Gibbs White in
like you can
10.
almost like with Tadic, he can play on the left, he can play on the right, he can play in the attacking midfield.
That's what he needs for us, to be fair.
His weak foot is incredible. Still doing really well out there. He's got 7 goals and 5 assists this season, so he's still smashing them in. I just think he's a solid player, and yes, it's a short-term fix. Don't get me wrong, like probably 2 years max. But if it could be done, why on earth? Why on earth just not do it? Get like a big name in the team.
I guess we do need a bit more experience, kind of thing. It's a
Yeah,
very
I think
young
he'd be.
team.
I think it'd be great. It'd be
Do you
great.
not think he'd ask for a high wage though?
He
Quite
could
a high
potentially.
wage. That's the only thing I'm
But then I feel like
Mate,
at
we had
Forest,
Jesse Lingard on the books.
Exactly,
It would have
exactly.
mattered.
You know, at Forest, yeah, I think it could be possible. Why on earth not? He could get back into potentially European football. Of course, he has it this season already. But yeah, I just his name
Where's he
came,
at
came
now?
to my mind. Fenerbahce.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Good shout.
Top 4.
Yeah. Man City.
Manchester
Manchester
City.
City.
They have a lot of issues.
Yeah.
Martin
Haaland.
Zubimendi for me.
Yeah, I've gone with the exact same.
Gone with the exact same.
Yeah,
Why?
they need someone to replace Audrey because they're struggling with
Yeah.
I
that.
mean,
Well,
I've already
I've-
said Zubimendi.
I
but-
have gone a DM. I haven't gone to Mendy though. I've gone shooting of PSV.
Interesting.
Yeah, once again, great player.
Mm.
I've gone right back.
Really?
Yeah, Carl
I think
Walker
Carl
is-
Yeah, I
Walker-
think I think that
Carl
would be my
Walker's
second option.
shocking.
If he's not for the midfield, then
I've got 2. I think Hakimi from PSG.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
he'd
100%.
be good to sit in. Also bring back Frimpong. He's been great at Leverkusen. Yep. Came through Man City's academy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, he does play further forward, but I think he can cover at right back. But I think the main one I'd go for is Hakimi.
Yeah.
I think if you want someone who can kind of bring what Walker does, which is pace, I think he's better going forward than Walker. Probably maybe not a bit defensively, but I think Hakimi just fits that perfectly. Once again, they do need a DM.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think they need,
Exactly. Top 3 now then.
go on
The
to
Arsenal.
Moving into the top
Yeah.
3. Arsenal.
Arsenal now.
Not in the top 2 at the moment. But
Uh,
where do Arsenal need to strengthen? For me,
I think it's obvious.
it's quite
yeah.
obvious.
We all gonna say
Striker?
Striker.
Yeah, for me.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I've got 2.
Yeah.
I've got Alexander Isak, which I think could be very difficult in January.
Yeah.
But if they want the kind of cheaper option, and I think I've said this to you before, I think a player that would suit their system would be Mateus Cunha. I think he would really fit Arsenal's.
Interesting.
I think he would fit Arsenal's system really well.
Yeah.
Just that, obviously, they kind of like with Havertz dropping in, playing that pass kind of thing. But he's not really a finisher like Cunha or Isak are.
No.
So I think one of those two. I think Isak could be very difficult. Cunha will be difficult, but not as difficult to get him as Isak will be, and it would be a much cheaper option.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've gone with Isak. I think it's kind of just the most obvious choice. I don't think there's that many strikers on the market at the
No.
moment in general. I think someone like Osimhen could be good if I was trying to throw out another name. But I think one that fits Arsenal the most, which I should have signed before, is Isak.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. The only thing with Isak, I like him as a striker, but he does seem to get injured quite a bit, and a couple of times that, and that's the only thing. As an Arsenal fan, throughout the years, we go through so many times we have a lot of injuries and stuff, and we're kind of suffering it now. And I just don't want that sort of player because I can't be asked with it anymore.
Fair.
So I would probably go out with Osimhen.
Yeah,
That's probably what I would say. I think the only thing with Cunha is that with us, I think we want a world class striker, and like some.
I think Cunha's got the ability.
I think for me, he doesn't he's not a screaming big name. We want to. I think
you need someone who's just here and now. That's the issue.
Yeah.
Like you need someone who's already
I think
proven. That's the only thing.
For January, maybe short term, yeah. But I think in terms of, I want a big striker, and I feel like Osimhen is probably that person for me, in my opinion.
One other thing, I think a backup left winger is quite a good idea. I think Martinelli plays better down the middle. I don't really rate Trossard that much. I think Cherky, we mentioned him before.
Yeah.
I think he'd be good.
For me, I've always said, because I think we need someone over on the right side for Bukayo Saka as well.
Yeah.
I've always had the opinion of Jared Bowen, because I've always rated him at West Ham. I'd always say go to West Ham, paying the 50, 60 million pounds, whatever they need. Him and Saka could just rotate on the right.
He want to start
He
week in, week
can,
out.
yes, but you can look at City as well. Look at the quality they have in City side. They used to
point.
always rotate as well. You know, Foden doesn't start every week and stuff. I'd even suggest Bowen out for Liverpool as well.
Yeah, potentially.
With Salah on that right hand side.
Yeah, I think Arsenal should get Isak.
Yeah.
End of set for me. I just as we've said, suits the style of play so much. Brilliant finisher, like so clinical. Yeah, for me, I think he would be the guy. He would be the guy.
Right.
And then second place, Chelsea.
Well, I've gone. Sorry about this again, Matt. Hermanson.
Yeah,
Just
makes sense.
fits Enzo's system. Sanchez is crap. I'm sorry, but he is crap. And Ubaid's even nodding to that. And then he's calling me a wanker. But no, Hermanson fits Enzo's system. Perfect.
Yeah.
Brilliant keeper.
I think I completely agree. I wanted to go for the different name, and I've actually gone with Van der Voort from Leipzig. I think young goalkeeper. I think very good. As I mentioned before, I think their second choice keeper should be promoted to first. I think he's a much better keeper. I think you sell Sanchez and then bring in Van der Voort as a backup.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Hermanson as well.
Yeah, Matt's been saying that for weeks. A long time he's been saying Hermanson.
Yeah, no, they need to keep. Thing is with Sanchez, he got dropped by Steele at Brighton, and then he went over to Chelsea and become the number one. No offense to Jason Steele, but he's not particularly world class great goalkeeper, is it? So when they made the move for him, it was almost like I never understood the move. I never really rated him at all.
Me neither.
So.
That was one transfer I didn't understand.
Yeah.
My player's Queven Kelleher for Chelsea. I think they should go for him.
I do think about it.
Why on earth not go for him? Like, he's played brilliantly against Chelsea on multiple occasions in finals. Like, he probably has his best performances against Chelsea. Would that not? No. Ubaid is shaking his head. Ubaid is not interested in Queven Kelleher.
I think another player as well. Once again, Byler. He's kind of been frozen out by Feyenoord.
Yeah,
makes sense. But yeah, should we move on to Liverpool?
We shall.
Well, do they really need anyone?
Yes, we do.
I've struggled with Liverpool. I've
gone with a midfielder. Yeah. I've gone with this quite attacking midfielder. It's very out there. I've gone with Valverde.
Yeah.
I think he'd be very good quality.
That'd be unbelievable if we could get him.
I think if Salah was to leave, he could go out even on the right.
I prefer him centrally.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's very much kind of, I think you could play anyone pretty much. Like, Hagball can play out on the right even.
Yeah.
But I think he'd just bring a lot of quality into your squad.
I've got a left back ready because obviously Robbo's getting on.
Still think he's done quite well this season, though.
But I think next in line for Liverpool would be Milos Kerkez at Bournemouth.
Oh, yeah.
I think he would be the perfect Robertson replacement because he's had injury issues quite a bit recently. And Kerkez is obviously having an unbelievable season at Bournemouth. I think he'd just fit Liverpool's system well, work well in the slot.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, no, I've struggled with Liverpool as well. They seem to have a decent side. I don't think they really need to sign him in January or anything like that. But yeah, I do agree. Eventually, they do need to come in and bring another left back in, I think. And maybe someone else, maybe in attacking.
Interesting. Someone, no one said a position. We
Striker.
need a striker.
I was thinking
Desperately,
striker
we
earlier.
need a striker. FSG, please just pay the money. Get Victor Gyökeres in the team. I know we bought Darwin Núñez from the same league, and it has not gone to plan, but clearly he's a far better player.
I think Sesko.
Sesko
if you
would
want
be
a striker, I think Sesko.
yeah, I think he could be really.
perfectly.
I just want a player right now who's on form, getting those numbers. We need one of the best strikers on the planet. I'm like with Jota. Jota's injured too often. Love him as a player because he can not be involved for 70 minutes and he pops up with a goal.
Yeah.
But Darwin Núñez,
I think
Like-
Núñez is one of the most overrated strikers.
He
I'm sorry,
just-
but I've said it from the beginning when he
yeah.
joined.
The
He
thing
wasn't gonna
is,
hit
the
it.
thing is, you know, we all really like him at Liverpool because he works hard and you know. But that
He's
should be
chaos
the,
ball.
it should
That's
be
literally
it
it.
should be the bare minimum if you put a Liverpool football
He
shirt
scores.
on.
Yeah.
To
He scores
try.
the hardest opportunities and misses literal sitters.
Yeah.
And it's like at least one a game.
I
And-
think it's just funny.
We've given
Yeah.
2.5 seasons. My patience is done.
Oh,
Like,
absolutely.
My,
I think he's not.
my,
been great.
my patience is done. So yeah, Victor Gyökeres for me. Just pay the money.
Bring back
Like,
Luis Suarez.
honestly, he probably would score more goals.
That's what I'm
But
saying.
yeah, no, just get Gyökeres in. I mean, what was it last summer? We bidded 115 million pounds for Moises Caicedo, I think it was, or something, and he ended up going to
Yeah.
Chelsea. So we've got the money there. Like, we made a profit this summer again. So like, spend the money. Thank you all ever so much for watching this episode of The Gold Show. If you have enjoyed, please make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, turn on all your post notifications as well, and go check out all our other content. We will see you then.